Do you feel stressed, tense up in fights? Do you suddenly miss shots that are normally no problem? And this video is for you. It is the first video of the PvP series, a series that will teach you to perform better against other players. And today's topic: how can we stay calm in heated situations so that we can perform at our maximum? Because, as most of you probably already know, when you're tense, stressed, it's impossible to perform at your full potential. And in Tarkov, that usually leads to, well, the lobby screen appearing a bit earlier than we would like to. So in this video, we will go over a couple of tips that help you to get rid of that. And as always, there are timestamps below so you can navigate the video more easily. And the first tip has absolutely nothing to do with the game or anything else, but with you. Your posture and how you hold the mouse is a very big factor in whether you cramp and tense up and how badly. And don't worry, I'm not going to tell you here that you have to sit ergonomically with your screen and arm length away and so on, but a few tips about the mouse. Basically, the looser your posture, the less likely you are to tense up. Those of you who have done martial arts know this. There it's also important to stay nice and loose. The same is true for our mouse, especially if you have a very big mouse. If you tend to grip the mouse really tight, it can lead to your aim, well, going completely down the drain. Really tightly grabbing the mouse and partially pushing it into the table, it can make sense if you do it consciously, but if it happens because you're stressed, it will hinder you. And if that's the case, I would recommend that you at least temporarily take a very loose grip. How you end up holding the mouse is your thing. There's no right or wrong. There are thousands of ways how you can do that. The important thing here is, however you do it, even with your posture, that you feel relaxed. This may sound very stupid, but try it out. You will notice that it helps enormously. The next tip are breaks. Sure, you can pause between raids, but I'm talking more about the pauses in between fights or even during a fight. This has two important advantages. First, if you're surprised the enemy is shooting at you, you don't want to run into his bullets, and then a short break can make sense. It gives you time to process the situation so that when you eventually re-peak, you can actually deliver. You also get a slight advantage when you peak because of, well, netcode and peaker's advantage, but that's another topic. And how long a break takes is absolutely dependent on you. Some just need a short break, others really need to step back for a moment, remind yourself, take a deep breath, calm yourself down, and then go in again. Because the thing is, yes, it's just a video game, but your body is kind of dumb. He doesn't understand the difference between the real thing and the video game for most people. So the reaction from your body can be pretty close to the real life experience. So take breaks, take a deep breath and do it consciously until you are in control again. But what if you're being pushed right now and you can't just take a break? This is where the next tip comes in. Make a decision and stick to it. One of the biggest differences when you watch an experienced player and the rookie is the experienced player makes up his mind and then follows the thing through. While the rookie is constantly second guessing himself, changing directions, wanting to push, then staying put, then waiting, then walking away again. So many things happen in a fight. You don't have time to question yourself. You just don't have the computing capacity in your brain for that right now. Respectively, you don't want to sacrifice it for that. So to ensure that you can really focus on what's happening, make a decision and follow it through. If it goes wrong, reflect afterwards if the decision was good or not. But stop questioning yourself all the time and changing your decision. Make up your mind, stick to it, question it afterwards. Then the next topic is my personal favorite: Desensitize. You really can't get around that one. The thing is, all the points that we just discussed help you when it happens. But the only way to get rid of this fear is, well, you have to desensitize yourself. That means you have to take every fight that comes your way. The best place for that? Factory. Just go blazing in. Fight after fight after fight after fight. When you're no longer afraid of factory, customs. Fight after fight after fight after fight. And so on and so forth. As with everything in life, we only learn with repetition. Exactly the same here. Your body has to learn this is a video game. There is no reason for your heart to pump faster or for your body to release adrenaline. You don't need it. You're sitting at your computer, but that needs time. But how much time? that depends on you. You can do it on woods, then it takes a few thousand hours. You can do it on factory, then it may take a few hundred. Sure, I'm not telling you to play factory the rest of the wipe, but playing a lot of factory over and over is ideal for getting rid of that. Just don't forget the gear factor here, which brings us to the next point. If you go to factory with your cheapest shotgun, where you're not afraid to lose it, the learning effect is not quite as good. It would be way better if you take in some gear that you're really afraid to lose. That will maximize the effectiveness of this method because, well, you're stressing yourself pretty hard, which means you desensitize faster. But if it's too much for now, a recommendation that I always give is reduce your gear. Many people just play the best gear available without taking into consideration their skill level. Let's say you're not that experienced in Tarkov yet, then why do you use 5 scav raids just to grind a meta M4, an Altian helmet and some slick vest? Just to then be absolutely terrified in raid because you're scared of losing it. Furthermore, you don't know how to take full advantage of the gear that you're currently playing. So your learning curve is gonna be horrible. It just doesn't make sense. Play gear that fits your current skill level. I made a whole video about gear fear, I'll link it here. It explains it in more detail. But basically, you should play gear that can sustain itself. If you're able to get rid of this gear fear factor, you're one step closer to actually not being afraid in Tarkov. But again, if you want to take Desensitize to a whole new level, take the best gear you got, play on factory without the fear of losing it. But I mean, still, you try your best. Like, you don't want to run into a wall like an idiot and just lose it on purpose to desensitize. You know what I mean. And last but not least, we have Aimlabs. Now, Aimlabs, there are some routines that can be very stressful, especially tracking exercises. There are many people who get extremely tense and really uncomfortable doing those kind of exercises. And if you do them more often, this will slowly fade away. And this again transfers at least a bit into the video game itself. So tracking exercises with bots, move, nervous, whatever, can be very good for that. Because those are the exercises where most people get very tense. They look easy, but as soon as you play them, you will understand what I mean. And this can also help you to notice when you're stressed. Because when you're suddenly cramping during the exercise, you can consciously try to release it. And the more you do that, the more aware you become of that very reaction and how to deal with it if it happens in-game. So yeah, those are all the tips. So in summary, make sure you're a bit relaxed when you're sitting and how you hold the mouse. Also allow yourself to take small breaks even during the fight and take breaths consciously. If you make a decision in a fight, stick to it and follow it through. Desensitize yourself, enter fights consciously. The more fights, the better. And that's why smaller maps like Factory are ideal. Then do play gear that sustains itself, or take your best gear to maximize the desensitization effect and use tracking exercises in Aimlabs. Those are all the tips. I hope it helps you out. If so, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next video. Good luck in your raids.